Reflecting on my time throughout this course, I start to realize that Jedi isn't just something external about workplaces or systems, it's something that connects to my whole self. One of the biggest things I learned is that inequality isn't always obvious and is actually often built into systems and everyday norms, which was a key idea in Unit 5 on systemic inequities and systems thinking. This really shifted how I think about fairness. It's not just about treating everyone the same, but understanding that different people experience the same environment very differently, which connects back to all the way back to Unit 1 with equity and inclusion. Now, as a biracial person myself, Chinese and Polish, this connected to me because I sometimes felt like I don't fully fit into one category. And this course gave me the language and terminology like intersectionality from Unit 1 and 5 to actually understand and articulate that better. It also made me question a lot, like whether organizations or sports teams are actually inclusive or if they just appear to be on the surface. Now, emotionally, this course pushed me more than I expected. There were moments where I felt uncomfortable, especially when reflecting on bias, not just in others, but in myself and environments I'm a part of, which we explored in Unit 3 with implicit bias and intent versus impact. Now, as an athlete, I've seen how team culture can sometimes unintentionally exclude people, whether it's through jokes, assumptions, or who gets recognized. Realizing that made me feel both uncomfortable and responsible. For example, on my team, I noticed that certain players would consistently get more recognition or leadership opportunities, while others were just as capable, stayed quieter, and overlooked. Like, that made me realize how easily inclusion can be influenced by confidence, familiarity, or just bias in itself, and rather than just skill, which connects to equity and opportunity and recognition from Unit 4. Now, in terms of action, this course made me more aware of how I physically show up in places, especially in team settings. For example, I've started thinking about who speaks, who doesn't, and how I can make space for others. Even small actions like acknowledging someone's contribution or being more aware of language feels more intentional now. This is something I wish I had internalized in myself during my first job last summer at Scotiabank, where I could have been more inclusive to other interns during meetings, making sure that everyone was heard. It also made me realize that inclusion isn't just a concept, it's something you actively practice in everyday actions, which also ties into what I connected with most, which was the idea of accountability and continuous growth, especially from Unit 6 on inclusive leadership. This course showed me that being inclusive isn't just about being perfect, it's about being aware, staying open, and being willing to learn and adjust when you get things wrong. I also connected with the idea of relational accountability from Unit 6, that my actions affect not just me, but the people and communities around me. That mindset shift is something I'll carry forward, especially as I move into more leadership roles in the future. Now, overall, this course changed how I see both myself and the environments I'm a part of. It pushed me to think deeper, reflect honestly, and take more responsibility, and that's something I'll continue building on beyond this class.